All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, look, it's no secret that the Jets are 0-3, and the offense has been anemic at best. At best, it's been brutal. But in this one, I want to talk about a couple changes, 3 specific changes that need to be made, that I personally feel like need to be made immediately if the team wants to have any sort of success, if they want to turn the tide this season. With that being said, let's jump in. So the first change that I feel like needs to be made with this football team is in regards to play calling. Whether you want to talk about the Panther game, the Patriot game, the Denver game, through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, the play calling for the New York Jets offense has been horrid. It has been horrendous, and we can actually reference specific plays. Like a couple weeks ago, when we decided to run it up the middle on 4th down, the run game wasn't working all day. The Panthers were a steel wall. The offensive line was getting ripped apart. And number one, we don't even have to go for it on 4th down right there, but we decide to, and we roll out the most boring, bland, obvious play call there is, like in the playbook, just a handoff up the middle in a short yardage situation, trying to bully the Panthers' defensive line. What are we doing there? Yesterday, going 5 wide in a 4th and short. I mean, I don't mind giving Zach Wilson a lot of options within a play, but when it's a 4th and short and you're not going to be handing the ball off. Just with having that many targets on the outside, you're not going to hand the ball off. The only thing that can happen is a quarterback draw. But do you really want to send your rookie quarterback that's been getting smacked around all day up the middle on a 4th down? Probably not. So it's just an obvious passing situation. We can take a look at the Patriots game where the Jets offense was constantly trying to force the ball down the field. Be aggressive, be aggressive. We stuck with it. It resulted in nothing positive. The only thing it resulted in is more interceptions for Zach Wilson in his home debut. Not a good look. We can ask the question, why is the offense seemingly ran by Braxton Berrios, Ryan Griffin, and Tyler Kroft? It's not a knock on any of those guys, but we have playmakers on this football team. Elijah Moore was drafted in the 2nd round, should have been a 1st-round pick. One of the most dynamic, explosive players, one of the best route runners in college football last season for Ole Miss in the SEC, a guy who put up great numbers. Why aren't we getting him the football? It seems like he's an afterthought within this offense. Now, of course, he's a rookie. He's going to have a learning curve, and there's going to be mistakes along the way, and we've seen a couple drops so far, but we need to feature these guys. Again, it's not a knock on Braxton Berrios, but why do I feel like he's getting the most targets out of everybody? Why do we have a 2nd-round pick from last year's draft who looked really good at Baylor, looked really good his rookie season, looked pretty productive in preseason, on the bench as a healthy scratch? I don't understand it. I mean, Keelan Cole was brought in from Jacksonville, a proven player in this league. He barely contributes. I don't understand the play calling with this football team. I feel like we need to get back to the roots of the West Coast system and implement the short passing game. Let's utilize the short passing attack. It benefits this team. It benefits this offense in a multitude of different areas. Number one, it gets Zach Wilson's confidence up. It gets his confidence up. It gets him in a rhythm. It gets him kind of feeling himself a little bit. You know, when you start off the game for 5 for 5, that feels pretty good, as opposed to going 1 for 3 for 11 yards at the end of the 1st quarter, which was the case yesterday. That's just what are we doing? 1 for 3? 1 for 3. I mean, come on, let's get creative here. Let's get guys in motion. Let's get guys going horizontal. Let's open up the screen game, slants, crossing patterns. Let's take a look at how Cliff Kingsbury called plays back at Texas Tech, how he always made sure the quarterback felt comfortable, no matter who he coached. Davis Webb, Baker Mayfield, Jet Duffy, who else? Patrick Mahomes. These quarterbacks felt comfortable. They always had stuff underneath. They always had crossing patterns. They always had mesh routes underneath. Guys screaming past the quarterback's face. So if something is not down the field, or something is not open down the field, you always have that outlet. The short passing game is just an extension of the run game. Let's take a look at how Jeff Grimes called plays with BYU. How Zach Wilson knew where to go with the football every single play. He barely turned the football over. And so far, he's a turnover machine. And granted, a couple of these passes are, just dropped. They're going right through wide receivers' hands, which is unbelievable. But I mean, we've seen a lot of interceptions so far. We need to make Zach Wilson's job as easy as possible. Let's not force feed him the offense. Let's not force him to do things he's not comfortable. Let's call some normal plays and get Wilson comfortable. Get the rookie quarterback starting in his 4th game this upcoming week against a solid Tennessee Titans defense. Let's get him feeling comfortable and relaxed. The play calling needs to change. So the second thing that I feel like needs to change is the offensive game planning throughout the week. I mean, I feel like at this point in time, it's not a coincidence that every single week the offense comes out of the gate, trips, and falls right in their face. Whether it's the turnovers, incompletions, failing to run the football, bad play calling, offensive line production or lack thereof, overall confusion, penalties. It's just a confusing mess. And I don't understand why every single week the Jets almost look unprepared. And, we've talked about scripting plays before, the classic Gase, but I feel like here it would actually be a really good idea. Script the first 9, 10, 11, 12 plays to get everybody in rhythm, to create some sort of tempo, to set the tone, to get the ball rolling early, to get the players to feel confident in what they've been working on all week. And this actually leads me on to another quick little side tangent here. How is it that Denzel Mims, the wide receiver, Zach Wilson, everybody looks great in practice. Everybody's coming off of the best week of practice, but yet we look worse. We look worse on a week-to-week basis. I'm not understanding that at all unless it's all coach speak. So really, the offensive game planning needs to change because this current formula is not working. It's not working. We got to shake things up at the end of the day. I feel like there's a coach out there that we can take a page from. But actually, now that I'm on second thought, we shouldn't take a page from this guy's playbook because we own the playbook. It's Kyle Shanahan with the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, this guy does a great job of understanding his opponent from a week-to-week basis, knowing the strengths, the weaknesses, where to attack. And I feel like that's why, even though the 49ers haven't had the most talent on the offensive side of the football, kind of a rotation at running back, no superstars at wide receiver, but they have a bunch of really solid players because they know their role, and Kyle Shanahan can put these guys in the best places to have success. And then, of course, also looking at the defenses and knowing where to attack. But maybe we take a look at how the 49ers run their offense, how Kyle Shanahan handles that offense. But yeah, we can't expect to win a bunch of games when we're only looking alive for the third and fourth quarter. I mean, stumbling out of the gates like this is it's infuriating. Throwing picks, incompletions, punt. I mean, out of the first 7 drives that the Jets had yesterday against the Broncos, 6 of them were punts. That's a no-go. No, not a good look. Not a good look at all. So the third realistic change that could be made here, I mean, I'm not asking for the Jets to go out and trade for Myles Garrett. Like these can be implemented this week, is a rearrangement of the wide receiver depth chart. Based off of what we saw yesterday, there is no more excuses why Denzel Mims cannot play. We've heard them all. We've heard every single rumor out there. He doesn't know the system. He doesn't fit the system. He can't run the route tree. He needs to learn how to play all 3 wide receiver positions, including slot. He needs to learn how to play special teams. Then he can get on the field for wide receiver. I mean, no Jet fan is saying Denzel Mims is Devontae Adams, Denzel Mims is AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. Nobody is saying that. People are saying this guy was a second round pick in 2020 that was great in college. Solid rookie season given the circumstances. Looked pretty good in preseason when he had an opportunity. And he's on the bench as a healthy scratch. He's not beat up. This isn't a virus-related thing. I feel like if it was a vaccine-related thing, he would have been released. But it just seems like he's kind of almost being pushed into the corner of the room and is almost being excluded from the wide receiver room. And at this point, again, after watching yesterday's performance, multiple dropped passes, guys failing to get open. I mean, Corey Davis had multiple drops. Braxton Berrios, horrible drop that led to an interception at the end of the game. Not on Zach Wilson there. Michael Carter, brutal drop. These stuff like that killed the New York Jets. We can go back and look at all the drops in the Patriots game. We need to rearrange the wide receiver depth chart and figure it out. I mean, this offense looks like the 32nd worst passing attack in the league. And we have so much talent at the wide receiver position, but yet we're failing to execute. We're failing to put it all together, and it's mind-boggling. So we need to shake it up. And I guess this third point kind of goes hand in hand with the first point, which is, in regards to play calling and getting certain guys involved. But I mean, man, the current lineup at wide receiver is very confusing, to me at least. And again, it's not a knock on. I'm not saying Berrios is horrible. I'm not saying Smith doesn't deserve to be out there, but I'm just not really understanding the lineup, the current lineup that's out there. And you know what? Just because it's the end of the video, I'm just going to throw out a quick bonus one that popped in my head now. It would really look like Zach Wilson would benefit from having a veteran quarterback on the roster. Not a guy like Nick Foles where, we're talking about putting Foles into the game and stuff like that, but just a veteran mentor, a leader, a teacher behind him. Mike White has 0 NFL experience. At times, Zach Wilson has looked a little confused, and I'm not blaming Zach Wilson at all. He's a rookie dealing with a rookie offensive coordinator. I feel like it would be nice to have a Fitzpatrick, to have a McCown, to have a Tyrod Taylor, but we don't. The youth is really taking its toll here at the quarterback, really offensively, but at the quarterback position. And again, I'm not blaming Zach Wilson in that department. You know, if he can't read a defense, or if he doesn't really know what's happening, he's only played 3 games. He's only played in 3 games. So maybe the Jets address the backup quarterback position, add a veteran guy before the trade deadline. Hopefully it's not too little too late, but those are 3 immediate changes that I feel like the Jets can make. Rearranging the wide receiver depth chart, fixing the game plan throughout the week, kind of just shaking things up, and addressing the play calling. I mean, we cannot continue to look how we have been in the first half of the game. It's just unacceptable and inexcusable. So, what are your big changes that you feel like the Jets need to make? I can't wait to dive into the comment section and kind of see everybody's suggestions. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.